Welcome back to Moses Brown School's still entitled, Hey, It's a Process podcast. Glad to be here and thanks for listening. Firstly, a comment on the tragic events at Brown University in December just before our winter break. Brown University is our neighbor. Part of the university is directly adjacent to MB's campus. Our heart goes out to their community and the families of the victims. We hold them in the light in this unimaginably difficult time. Please sit with us for a few moments of silence. The lovely sounds you just heard were from Lower School's New Year's Sing. Speaking of performances, we wanted to take a moment to reflect on our past SPAF performance right before the holidays.
What's going on in that beautiful mind?
So I'm here with Sophie, who organized SPAF this year, and she's just going to give us a little bit about SPAF.
Hi, I'm Sophie, and I organized SPAF this year. Basically, SPAF is the Student Performing Arts Festival. Anybody in the community can come out and perform. It doesn't have to be music, but it can be. This year we had a lot of dancing. We did have a lot of people performing songs. The a cappella group Versatones performed. We also had some Shakespeare and some improv. So it was a super duper fun experience. Thank you to everybody who came and showed up to see the performances. And thank you to everyone who was supporting the organization of the event, and everybody in the theater, and Chris and Millie and everybody there, and then everybody helping with tech to do all of the mics. Thank you to all of those people.
Just a reminder that there is also a spring SPAF, so keep a lookout for more details, thankfully when the weather turns warmer.
Hey everyone, it's Alan
and Pierce,
and we're here to update you on some sports happenings at MB.
The following upper school teams are in action: swim, basketball, hockey, squash, indoor track.
If you want to support our teams but don't know how, visit mosesbrown.org/athletics for schedule information or check the RIIL website. You can follow Moses Brown Athletics on Instagram as well.
Congratulations to the 17 seniors who committed to collegiate sports next year. Go check out the mosesbrown.org news page to see more. Here is Director of Athletics AJ Kizakai speaking at the signing ceremony in December.
I always like to share a stat with everyone, just to share the magnitude of what it means to be making this level of commitment as a student athlete. Annually, there's about 8 million student athletes competing in high school athletics. And out of that, you're looking between 6 to 7% of those student athletes who will go on to compete at the collegiate level. These students are joining a small cohort of individuals who have played or are currently playing at the collegiate level. And I think they got to that point, through sheer resilience, perseverance, and a level of leadership.
Over the years, Moses Brown has had many students featured in WPRI's Hometown Heroes. The latest senior to that, Skylar Maxwell, was featured on January 5th. Go check out our video at WPRI.org or check out MB's social media for the story.
We hope to see some fans at games through the remainder of the winter season. We know it's cold, but there's nothing else to do. Let's go support our Quaker teams. Go Quakers.
That's all we got for now. We got more in February as the playoffs will approach.
Moses Brown traditionally has student-directed plays in the winter, and I spoke to both of the student directors and stage managers of this year's plays, Little Women and the Moors. Keep a lookout for the dates of those performances. So I'm here with Emma and Lily, the student director and stage manager of Little Women.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm the student director for Little Women this season.
I'm Lily. I'm the stage manager.
Our show will be performed on February 5th, 6th, and 7th in Steve's room, and this is a really interesting show. We have a really great cast, and it follows 4 sisters and their friends and family and explores this relationship between sisters, neighbors, and the evolution from girlhood to womanhood.
And it takes place during the Civil War era, so there are also some themes of like what gender roles people have and what your role in your family is and how you can care for others while also caring for yourself.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So I'm here with Ava and Brooke, who are the student director and stage manager for the other winter play, The Moors.
Hi, I'm Ava. I'm the student director for the Moors.
Hi, I'm Brooke. I'm the stage manager for the Moors.
We have a really good show planned for you. It's pretty amazing. It's basically follows 2 sisters, both with extremely different personalities, extremely strong personalities. A governess who comes to join them under the incorrect assumption that their brother has asked for her, and a dog and a hen who fall in love. It's quite a beautiful story, quite a tragic story, quite a hilarious story. I hope you'll come see it.
I'm here with Natalie and Jocelyn, 2 members of Omnia. So for those who don't know, could you tell us, what is Omnia?
That is a great question. So Omnia is both a literary magazine that has existed for decades at Moses Brown, and it is also a creative community and collaborative hub. And that's really what we're building out this year, is how we make Omnia a presence throughout the year and not just in May and June when we print the magazines and everyone receives them.
What does creativity mean to you in the context of Omnia?
To me, creativity means looking at the world and each other through our unique lenses, but bringing together media that might not necessarily mesh and finding something beautiful in it. So what's really cool, and this kind of bridges into Find Create, is how we can harness people's creativity from everywhere along the creative spectrum and bring people together for unexpected collaborations. And so that's really what I'm super excited about with Omnia this year, is how we bring visual artists and writers together and musicians and really broaden the expansion of what creativity means and in who feels that they align with that.
So you all had recently hosted a Scholastic Creative Night. Could you tell us more about this event? Where did it come from? What was its impact?
Yeah, so basically it was like a little gathering in the library focused on preparing and refining pieces to submit to the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. It was like very cozy. There were blankets, the lights were dim, there was pizza, of course. And like initially I just went there going for like some feedback, and I was considering submitting. But then I ended up really liking like the vibe, the environment, and the people that I connected with there. So then I attended the Omnia meeting on Monday, and now here I am. I'm working on expanding Omnia's outreach, including hopefully an Omnia Instagram account, and meeting with you guys today.
What is Blind Create, and where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so the idea came from our first meetings. We had some musicians and visual artists who didn't really know if they like fit into the Omnia community, and then we just invited them and they came and they were like, wow, this is so cool, and I didn't think that I would feel so welcome and at home here, but I am. And so the idea originated from a bunch of artists from different media being and modes being in the same space, and we thought, oh wow, how cool would it be if we got writers together and visual artists and even musicians and like paired people up. Acrostic is a form of poetry that's inspired by visual art, and so we thought, what if we kind of broaden that and have many different artists create in response to each other's work. So that's what's happening a week from Wednesday on December 17th. We really are excited for all the people who will join us for Blind Create.
What's your vision for Omnia this year and in the future? And what does the Omnia community mean to you?
So this year I was really lucky as like the leader and editor-in-chief to then be able to meet Nikki Champlin, who's our faculty lead, and she and I were both really excited about making Omnia like a presence and expanding our creative networks, because there are so many incredibly brilliant and generative and generous people in our community. And so we were thinking, like, let's bring everyone into the fold and then also make it like a really meaningful community to belong to ahead of going into the real world. Even if you're not going to become an artist, just understanding how a literary magazine professionally operates, and then also how you can deepen and expand creativity within yourself, both if you intend to be a professional artist or writer and if you just find creative nourishment.
And adding on, we're working on making Omnia like more accessible, especially for our generation and the coming generations, because as you know, we might be scrolling on Instagram and we're chronically online. So just making it more accessible through social media.
Thanks so much for your time. I'm here with David, a member of our mock trial team. And our first question is, what is mock trial and how does it work?
Mock trial is essentially a competition in which two schools will go up against each other in a real court of law, typically in the traffic court in Providence. And it's a competition of performance and etiquette of the law and knowledge of the law. And so essentially we'll go to a trial and one team will be the prosecution, one team will be the defense. And those teams will be graded on knowledge of objections and how you enter pieces of evidence into evidence and how you question your witnesses. And the witnesses are pretty much graded on acting. So they're each given a witness profile, and in those profiles, they will be asked questions about their backstory. And from there, they'll be used to help either the prosecution or the defense. And each team has the opportunity to make an opening statement to the court, a closing statement to the court. And each lawyer, there's 3 lawyers, will cross-examine a witness and direct a witness. And additionally, we bring along with us a rules expertist who kind of looks for rules violations in the court.
What drove you to join mock trial and what is your favorite part about it?
I actually joined mock trial in 8th grade because of peer pressure. I was coerced into joining mock trial during a clubs block in which I was doing homework by 2 friends from 8th grade. And although reluctant at first, when I joined mock trial, I just knew that it was kind of the activity for me. I have been interested in the law for a long time. And this is a really good way to see if you will enjoy being in the courthouse. It's also a good way to practice your acting, if that's at all interesting to you. I typically am a witness, which requires acting, and that kind of helps me because I'm an actor myself at Moses Brown. Additionally, for this year, I was a lawyer, so I kind of got a little more of that law stuff into it as well. My favorite part about mock trial, I really like the realisticness. I don't know if that's a word, but I really like how genuinely you are going to a real trial. And this is what trials are like, obviously, with exceptions. But it's a real case which you have to read through and you have to memorize, and you have to either embody your character or have enough knowledge of the case where you can be a good lawyer and you can defend your witness and you can also call witnesses out. So it's just really realistic, and it really is a great way for high schoolers to learn about the law, even if you don't want to be a lawyer.
So how do mock trial trials actually work? Tell us a little bit about your most recent trial.
So once again, trials are against between two schools, and those two schools, one will be assigned the defense and one will be assigned the prosecution. And you will have your list of witnesses. It'll be 3 witnesses, which you're either going to direct and then you're going to cross the other side's 3 witnesses. The prosecution always presents their case first, and the defense presents their case last. 2 of the 3 lawyers will deliver a statement to the court, which is either opening or closing. And then we obviously have a rules expertist who is in it a little bit at the beginning and the end. And the fluidity of the trial is just like a real trial in a court of law. Yesterday's trial was a great trial for the Moses Brown mock trial team. We won against Middletown High. Our lawyers had numerous successful objections, which baffled the lawyers, dare I say, and definitely defended their witnesses and called out the other side's witnesses when need be. We also had amazing performance from our 3 witnesses who all had different personalities and created a really engaging case for the court and the observers to watch. We were the defense, so we were defending the defendant of the trial. This was a murder case, and so that was really interesting. We also went against Barrington High a few weeks ago as the prosecution, and we scored incredibly high, but Barrington was the prevailing team.
And finally, what's your biggest takeaway from your experience in mock trial over the years, and what's the best thing that you've learned?
My biggest takeaway from mock trial is probably that it's probably that I'm interested in the law. I've really thought about it for a long time, but mock trials has kind of showed me that, yeah, this is something that I could see myself doing later in life. I really like the performance of a trial, and that, from what the judges tell us at the end, is definitely a real part of the law itself. You need to be a dynamic public speaker, and you need to be able to persuade people. And so that's kind of a big takeaway. The other big takeaway is just how difficult the whole process is, of trials. These cases are intentionally made with holes in them so that both the defense and the prosecution can have a fair game. But we've absolutely learned that learning about a case is investigative work, and then defending or prosecuting is like performative. And so there's so many different skills that you use in mock trial. And the best thing I've learned is that I really enjoy law. I think it's a really interesting field, and I've definitely considered it after my positive experiences as both a witness and a lawyer in the trial since 8th grade.
Thanks so much, David. All right, well, that's the end. Thanks for tuning in. Check back in February for the next edition, perhaps a new podcast format and an actual podcast name. Here's to hoping. Until then, this is Ezra, signing off.